Welcome, brothers and sisters, to Defending Zion. Today I'm going to do a little bit of a different video. This is something that will hopefully help you in your gospel study. Some resources that I have found helpful as I've studied the gospel to help me to understand the scriptures and to find out the true meaning of the scriptures. So the first is the LDS Scripture Citation Index, and it's located at scriptures.byu.edu. And this has a lot of information in it. So obviously it has the scriptures in it. It has the Joseph Smith translation. Cool thing about it is if you, let's say you're studying Isaiah, and let's say you're studying, chapter 11. And you have a particular verse here that you're just not really understanding. It's difficult to get the meaning of it. You can look here, you can find particular verse, and then it will list all the places in the Journal of Discourses, the teachings of the prophet Joseph Smith, or general conference addresses where that particular scripture is referenced. And I found this helpful because a lot of times the prophets will elaborate, in greater detail about some of these particular meanings of things. So that's really helpful if you're studying topically, or if you're, studying a particular chapter or verse or book of scripture. So if you go down here to the library, obviously I said general conference addresses all the way back to 1942. It has the Journal of Discourses, and then it has the teachings of the prophet Joseph Smith. So it's quite an exhaustive database of information, and kind of helps you broaden your study a little bit more, but still maintaining a grounding in the doctrine, in the words of the scriptures, and the words of living prophets. So that's the first resource. The second one is BibleHub.com. I like this because it has all different translations of the Bible you can use. As you go through, you can see here all these different translations. It also has, and this is something I use quite a bit, a lexicon, which will give you the scripture in Hebrew for the Old Testament or in Greek for the New Testament. So you can actually see the words, and then you can go to Strong's, and it will give you the definition or how it's used throughout Scripture. So here you can see that this particular word, troter, is used in Isaiah, but it's also used in Proverbs. And then it also highlights and shows you kind of the translation or the meaning of that word. So you can do that for both the Old and the New Testament. The other thing that's cool, if you go to the main page, is it has a Bible dictionary, which is helpful to kind of give you another resource besides our Bible dictionary to help you to understand some of the doctrines and principles. Again, it has Greek and Hebrew translations of the scriptures, has Strong's Concordance, Interlinear Bible, which is cool. It's the translations in English with the Hebrew. So, again, it's a great resource, especially if you want to dig into deeper meanings of words, or to understand the Hebrew or the Greek. The last one is actually on the church's website, and if you go to libraries, you go to Gospel Library, go to the Scriptures, and then the Book of Mormon. This is just for the Book of Mormon. Go down here to the reference guide to the Book of Mormon, and this will give you something similar to the topical guide, but it's pretty exhaustive, so it goes according to topics, but it gives you specific doctrines, people, in the scriptures, and then it gives you those references where it's found in the Book of Mormon. One thing that I found pretty amazing and pretty eye-opening was there's this section here about doctrines. And I know a lot of people like to discuss, what's doctrine, what's not doctrine. Right here on the church website, we have a good comprehensive list of the doctrines of the church, right? So we have things such as baptism, right? Charity, commandments, contention, faith, family, Israel, gathering, scattering, 10 lost tribes, all of these different doctrines of the church and specific verses that are found in Scripture. So if you're studying topically, especially if you're studying the Book of Mormon, this is a great resource to look to first to be able to find where these particular topics are discussed in the Book of Mormon. And then what I'll do is I'll look at the footnotes for that particular verse or word, and then I'll check the cross-references for that. So these are some resources I found helpful. I hope they'll help you. Great if you're already using them. I am going to turn on the comments for this video because I would like to see if there's any other resources out there that you found helpful in your scripture study. Anything that's helped you get deeper meaning, understand words, whatever it may be. So go ahead and leave comments on there and let me and let the rest of us know what resources you found helpful. And I hope that this has been helpful for you, and wish you a happy scripture study.